One more day.
Mm-hmm.
One more day until Georgia beats Florida for the 8th time in the last 12 years. Georgia extends their series lead to 11 games on the plus side. And Georgia proves once and for all that the Sun Belt is not the SEC. All of that's going to happen tomorrow, and today we're going to tell you what you should be most excited about as a Georgia fan to watch the cocktail party.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are back. Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Underdog. More on them in a moment. Daniel.
Yes.
It is tomorrow.
Well, today is today, unfortunately.
It is.
Tomorrow's coming.
Tomorrow's coming. And when tomorrow comes, when the sun rises and the stew is on and the sweatshirt is there, and the cool autumn breeze is coming through that window.
That's right.
And the cinnamon rolls have been eaten.
Yep.
And Gator is on the menu for dinner.
Yeah, that's right.
That is going to be glorious. We're going to talk to you about what we're excited about, what we're nervous about, and not to sleep on for the cocktail party. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this is going to end in exaltation for us all. So, Daniel, let's start with what are we most excited about for this game?
I am excited in this game for a dominant defensive performance from the University of Georgia. Now, it's not like these have been in short supply this season.
No, sir.
A brilliant defensive performance, albeit against the lowly Vanderbilt.
Sure.
A fantastic defensive performance, albeit against the hapless Auburn Tigers the week before. But still a little bit hungover by what I saw against Missouri, by some of the defensive struggles that I saw against Missouri. Missouri's ability to move the ball down the field. Now, the red zone defense was good for Georgia, but Missouri's ability to move the ball. I am excited to see this defense get things back on track. I do think the injuries long-term are an issue for Georgia if they can't get them shored up, but I don't believe in the short term in this game that the injuries are going to have much of a say. And so I am excited for potentially a shutout in the cocktail party. I'm excited for a defensive score or at least 2 turnovers in the cocktail party. I'm excited for a dominant defensive performance in which Georgia never gives a Gator fan an opportunity to even sniff the possibility that they might be competitive in this.
They ain't standing up from that chair, Daniel. There's no reason to.
No, they'll be turning the game off.
There you go. Daniel, here's what I'm excited. I too am excited, but I'm excited for Florida. I think how they try to attack us is methodical down the field. They're not going to do anything, and it's not going to work. I'm excited for our young DBs to continue to progress and pick off Anthony Richardson multiple times. Because here's what I think this defense needs more of. It needs confidence and reps. Daniel, that's what this defense needs. It needs confidence and reps. Sometimes you get too big for your britches. You need to be taken down a peg. You need to be humbled. That's not this team. That's not this defense. This defense needs to know it can dominate. Specifically, the defensive backs. You give me Malachi Starks getting a pick. You give me Keely Ringo getting right with a pick 6, kind of shaking that off because we know it's there. You give me those sorts of events happening in the secondary, then all of a sudden that confidence would translate to the week after. Daniel, again, some teams need to be humbled, and Alabama goes out and gives up all them yards and then decides against Mississippi State to hunker down. Sometimes you need kicked in the backside.
Mm-hmm.
If you've watched Kirby this entire year, I take my cues from King Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been the stick guy this year with the defense, Daniel.
Nope, a little more carrot.
Little more
A
carrot.
little more cilantro.
Look, you put that cilantro out there and you keep chopping that cilantro. Things happen.
He moves it.
It's the needle's moving, Daniel. The needle's moving.
That's for some.
You give me this defensive back group teeing off, Daniel.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about. And what better case to do that against Anthony Richardson?
Anthony Richardson, who some are calling a quarterback, but I will not go so far.
Do you have, like, at the University of Florida, do you just at a certain point get tired of a hybrid thrower? Like, do you just say to yourself at some certain point, we should really focus on either the Wildcat exclusively or actually join the ranks of passing offenses?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
This is the university that touted Emory Jones as a Heisman Trophy candidate. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with these kinds of people.
To be fair, they still touted AR-15 as a Heisman candidate. So,
well, here we go.
we're gonna come back after.
Coming up.
We're gonna come back after this, talk about what we're nervous about. But first, we'll let you know about Underdog. Underdog is a place that you're gonna go to do fantasy and betting and sports all in one place for college football. It's exciting. It's thrilling. It is easy to use. Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com is the place to go to do the bets that you get to make. They put out all the lineups, all the projections right out in front of you. You make a lineup. You do Stetson Bennett plus or minus 2.5 for touchdown, over under. All of these lines, all of these fantasies, all these lineups, you can get Underdog Fantasy. And right now, they're going to go ahead and match up to $100. You put $100 in, they will match your deposit. Underdog Fantasy $100 match with the promo code Locked On. Get over there right now.
All right, Clint, what are we nervous about? To me, there's only one right answer to this question. I'm interested to see what you say.
There's only one right answer to the Daniel. I gotta call into question the bucket ability of that statement.
Well, that's true.
Okay,
That's true.
okay. Here's what I'm nervous about. Daniel, I don't want to play the game of what ifs anymore with this team. This team has had exceptional talent, roster development, coaching development all the way through. I'm nervous for a Mizzou game happening once more. That's what I'm nervous about. I don't think we're going to be in jeopardy, but if you were to tell me heading into the most pivotal week on our schedule, the most important thing possible, and our team goes out there and our offense can't get it going against Florida, a good defense. I get that. I understand that. We should be able to move the ball, because if we can't move the ball and put up a bunch of points against Florida, then to your point earlier this week, how the junk do we think we're going to get in a shootout with Tennessee coming in next week? And I'm going to get all sorts of nervous feelings, Daniel. The defense is going to be the defense. I'm fine with it. I really, really am. But if our offense struggles against Florida to the tune of a Missouri type game, then I hate everything about my life.
Well, first of all, it's Florida. You should be nervous that we're going to lose the game. Like, nervous
bucket ability
that we will lose. That's what you should be nervous about. We've seen it happen before. But I think in the big picture, Georgia's a better team than Florida. Barring some kind of freak, weird, fluky plays, Georgia's not going to lose this game. The thing to me, big picture, to be nervous about is that Georgia doesn't answer any of the injury questions in this game, right? So that means no Jalen Carter, That means no AD Mitchell.
No.
That means no Smile Mondon. That means all of the concerns that we have, all of the I wonder if he'll play, I wonder if he's back. Kendall Milton, I wonder if he's getting healthy.
Kendall Milton's not playing this game.
None of these questions are going to be answered positively. That's what makes me nervous, because it just leads us into yet another week of saying to ourselves, are we going to see these guys again this year? When are we going to see AD? Because you heard, I don't know who it was, a beat writer, maybe Seth Emerson, maybe somebody, asking this week, this offense is different when AD Mitchell is not on the field. You don't have to have even 2 functioning eyeballs to know that. You just pirates everywhere can just squint at the television and see that this offense is not just better with AD Mitchell on the field. Okay,
it's the second pirate reference this week for you, Daniel.
That's, well, if the shoe fits, if the hook fits. The offense is not just better with AD Mitchell. The offense is dynamic with AD Mitchell, and the offense has been a bit pedestrian without AD Mitchell. Stetson Bennett called him maybe the best receiver in all of college football. Listen, I know that's the quarterback. That's his quarterback.
Sure.
But he didn't say that about any of the other receivers currently on Georgia's team, did he? He's also their quarterback, in case you forgot. He didn't say that about Ladd McConkey, his close friend and roommate. AD Mitchell is the dude on this receiving core.
Yes, sir.
And it's not just that I see that and you see that. The entire Georgia team sees that and knows that. He's not the best player currently injured for Georgia.
No.
But he is the most important player that Georgia needs to get back if Georgia is going to accomplish its goals this season. And so I would rather Georgia win by 7 and AD Mitchell play the whole game than Georgia win by 40 and AD Mitchell not play in the game. That's, to me, him being back, pending we win the game, him being back is the most important thing that could happen in this game. And I'm nervous that it's not going to happen.
Well, that's great, because if I know anything about Kirby and injuries, he's going to be very forthright in news and updates.
Just let you know. We are really hopeful that we're going to get him back this week.
No, if he needed to, he can go for us.
He could have gone if he needed to go.
Could have gone if we needed him. Looks, Smile Mondon, inside linebackers. I came on this podcast and said the middle of the defense being shored up against Tennessee is going to be just fine for us. And then Dan Jackson went ahead and broke his foot. And Smile Mondon's not back. And if you understand passing concepts, the reason that the wide receivers get so open in the back end of the defensive backfield is because they're being sucked up because the underneath routes are not being covered so well. Smile Mondon not being out there, you might say, for run game, for pressures. Covering the dig, the 15-yard in, the slants, the posts, all of that underneath stuff allows Malachi and Christopher and Tyke to get back in coverage. You're right. AD Mitchell is the most, how his injury status goes dictates a lot. Smile Mondon, for me, also right beneath that for how he understands and gets with the defense. We're going to go back up to this and tell you what not to sleep on for this game.
Don't sleep on Clint. I got 2. I got 2 for you. One of them's a continuation. They're both very specific.
Okay.
Very specific predictions.
So you have 3 for us then?
No. One of them's a continuation.
Okay.
They're both very specific predictions.
Okay.
I have 2.
Okay.
Continuation of what I was saying earlier, what you were saying earlier. JDJ is going to score a touchdown in this game. Okay?
Come on, Pops.
6.
Come on, Pops.
He's scoring a touchdown in this game. I think of all the players likely to get an interception, linebacker as a group most likely to get an interception in this game.
That swing pass in which Anthony Richardson looks over there and doesn't look at the linebacker screaming across.
Because Anthony Richardson can throw the ball. He can throw the ball. He can spin the ball. All right?
He can.
He's got exit velo. We know this. Todd McShay has told us.
Countless times.
He can put it in a window to a wide receiver being covered. What he cannot do is read a defense and understand where players are on the field and understand who's covering who and understand what that linebacker that looked like he was dropping back into a zone, what that linebacker is doing with his eyes when he's watching Anthony Richardson break down a play. So that's don't sleep on number 1. Don't sleep on number 10 taking the ball right to the house for his second touchdown, I believe, as a Georgia Bulldog.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, don't sleep on Stetson Bennett with 3 bills.
Okay.
And 0 completions 30 yards down the field.
He just hitting these
300 yards passing, but 0 completions that travel 30 or more yards down the field. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to have any passes that go for 30 or more yards, but he's not going to complete any balls 30 or more yards down the field. He's going to throw some swings out to Kenny Mack. He's going to throw some underneath stuff to Brock Bowers, and these are going to be big explosive plays in the game. That's how he's going to rack up all these yards. But I don't expect the deep ball to really be utilized as much or be as much of a weapon for Stetson Bennett. And so I expect an accumulation of passing statistics, but at the end of the day, I think you're going to look up and be like, oh, Stetson played okay. Oh, Stetson threw for 348 yards in this game.
A little sneaky great performance.
Sneaky good game where you're going to be like, oh, that was really nice.
So again, Daniel, you have 3 predictions. Don't sleep on. You're missing your third. You're missing your third.
Oh, also, I actually don't think George is going to block a kick in this, or George is going to run a kick back for a touchdown in this game. I don't think that.
Okay. All right.
But what kind of a synergy would it be if both number 10s scored a touchdown? Kieris, that's what I'm going to say. Kieris runs a punt back for a touchdown.
There it is.
He scores, and JDJ runs an interception back for a touchdown. He scores.
Don't sleep on Branson Robinson not getting a lot of run in this game. Now, here's why. Florida rush on the defensive line and their rush defense, good. Branson, freshman. And I understand freshman running back is an easier position to slot in and go. But I think if the running gets a little tight in there and it gets hard to push the line, Dejon Edwards, Kenny Mack, especially Dejon, though, might have more of an agreeable running style for that. And I think because they're going to get pressure, because they're going to have pressure packages trying to get to Stet. Do you know what's really, really, really difficult as a freshman in the SEC to come in right away and do as a running back, Daniel?
Pick up a 260-pound guy coming off the edge.
That's really hard. I don't care who you are. And Dejon, Kenny Mack can do that really, really well. They've been coached. Blitz packages are hard. So I think we might see less of a performance by Branson. Not because of skill-wise, just because of the matchup that plays out there. Now, next week, come back, don't sleep on, and I got a whole different. The script just flips entirely. But this game, I know he's coming on. I know we got the 3-headed attack, but temper the expectations. I think more of that Stetson sneaky good game and our running game being primarily a lot of catches by Kenny Mack and Dejon taking the full load himself in this game.
I think one way or the other. Don't sleep on me being by about 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Don't sleep on me being in a full lather. There ain't no sweat block in this world that's going to stand in my way. I have got shelves of recent acquisitions that I've made from places across the world.
From places that literally have the name of the product is the name of the country.
You don't need to know what's in my bag, sir. You don't need to.
I declare
nothing.
nothing.
I'm just trying to tell you that tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern time, don't come calling for your boy. That's what I'm trying to say.
The in-game text chain is gonna be.
It's gonna get weird. It's going to get weird. Don't sleep on that. T's and P's to executive producer intern Michael or whoever else may or may not be privy to any of those text messages.
Someone catching a stray from Daniel's text chain.
That's a fact. That is a fact. Someone's gonna get hit with a little friendly fire. It's not gonna be intended, but it's gonna be a casualty one way or another. It's gonna be fine. And then come Sunday, we'll just see who still has their job. Like see who's still employed. We'll just have to wait and see. I'll be fine. All right, we'll be back next week. Enjoy the cocktail party.
Come on.
Enjoy yourself. Today. If you're down in Jacksonville for the game, just watch out for people in orange and blue. Just understand what kind of person we're dealing with. Go back and listen to yesterday's episode. Just enjoy yourself. Protect yourself. Get home safe because the games just keep keep getting.
Stop.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.